Number 47, Fred Robinson, just stopped the Cleveland drive with an interception, and now the Colts take over. NFL players tend to do very well in bitter cold conditions. It's wind that changes the game, and so far, Trump, wind's not been a problem.
Not been a factor. The problem has been that neither offense is paying much respect to the other team's defense. I mean, both these teams driving up and down the field as if there's nobody standing in front of them. That's the biggest surprise to me so far, Don.
Well, it's a 7-7 game, and the Colts are set to go now as they send their offense back out.
That's only Bernie Kosar's 9th interception thrown this season. Don, the Colts, I think their game plan is basically hang tough, hope to be in the ball game in the 4th quarter, then turn Dickerson loose. Right now, Cleveland's allowing them to do that. Stay in the game.
Dickerson checking with his quarterback. The lines again, he drops so far off the line of scrimmage, but in 2 strides, he makes it up. Dickerson pass blocking. Trudeau screening the ball out. It goes to the man who caught the touchdown pass, Pat Beach, and he's ahead across the 20-yard line. First down play gets about 3 yards for Indianapolis.
Biasucci on the tackle. He's playing the nose, replacing Bob Golick. He's on Ray Donaldson. And watch how he recognizes this screen. When he sees those linemen pull out in front of him, the Puz is out there to assist on the tackle. An excellent player. And also as the defender, there's Bob Golick on the sideline, the guy without the hat with the broken arm.
So far, second-year man Jack Trudeau's done it all right for Indianapolis. 6 throws, 6 completions for 63 yards and a touchdown. Eric Dickerson down in a cloud of dust, and he got about 2 yards. That'll make 3rd down and 6. Lucius Sanford, a very quick linebacker from Georgia Tech, was on the stop, along with Dave Biasucci.
And the nose tackle Biasucci. He's got to stand up that center, try to consume that center, try to consume as many blockers as he possibly can, and then push the pile. And the Puz got it done.
Defense, the key to winning Super Bowls. The 5 most recent Super Bowl winners have all given up less than 9 points a game in the playoffs. Less than 9. We have a 7-7 tie today, with 11:58 to play in the first half. From the shotgun, Trudeau on the run, has a problem, gets it out, and it's broken up nicely at the 29-yard line.
Almost intercepted.
Dixon, a first-team All-Pro player, did indeed almost have an interception.
Trudeau, not a particularly good rollout quarterback. He's flush from the pocket here, and Hanford Dixon really makes up yards. This ball's thrown behind him. Dixon almost picks it off.
Dixon is a sensational talent for the Cleveland Browns, and now we're going to have the first punt of this game. Ron Stark, a former Pro Bowl punter, stands back at his 10-yard line. Little Gerald McNeil, who's going to the Pro Bowl as a kick returner, standing back awaiting it. Well hit ball with the left foot. Stark from Florida State booms it downfield. Ball on the field, and here comes the ice cube. Not very far. Swept under at the 23-yard line. Coming down to get him was Kevin Hancock, number 51, a 54-yard punt and just a 2-yard return. Today's game is brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevy truck. By Federal Express, who reminds you that it's not just a package, it's your business. And by Alamo Rent-A-Car. There are over 4 million miles of roads in America, and with Alamo, all the miles are free. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at Cleveland Stadium. Maude Rashad and Paul McGuire also here. They'll be joining Bob Costas and Don Shula and Gail Gardner at halftime as the biggest playoff weekend of the year is underway, and the game is tied 7-7. Now Kosar, downfield throw. Webster Slaughter can't get to the ball. It's picked off, but there's a marker down. Eugene Daniel intercepts for Indianapolis, but he might have pushed Webster Slaughter before he got to the ball, and it could be a big gain for the Cleveland Browns.
You got it.
But the Colts are pointing at Cleveland. We'll see. Looked like a foul on the Colts.
That ball floated in the air. And when Webster Slaughter came back for it, Eugene Daniel made the contact.
Number 38 on the defense.
Now that's an interference call on 2 on Indianapolis, 1 on Cleveland. Now watch this ball float. You can see it's almost, there's the contact right there. No question whatsoever. Excellent call. Daniel makes the interception, but The flag is already on the ground. And I noticed Larry Williams coming off the sideline limping. Offensive guard for the Cleveland Browns. Being replaced by Greg Riccozzi. There's Williams. Mack already out on the sideline, ill.
Only time the Colt defense has been able to stop the Browns in this game was on the end zone interception. The last Cleveland possession when the Browns took it right down to point-blank range again. Freddie Robinson stopped the touchdown. Handoff with the ball is Tim Manoa. When you stutter step at the line of scrimmage, there's usually nothing there, and there wasn't for Manoa as he got ahead for maybe a yard. Combine tackle, Barry Krause and Eugene Daniel on the stop for Indianapolis.
And it's going to be interesting to see with the loss of Kevin Mack just what it does eventually to the running game of the Cleveland Browns. And Manoa more of a blocker than he is a runner as we watch Larry Williams try to walk off any kind of injury. He's going in. Get something retaped, get something done, not really sure what, but Manoa's not even close to the running back that Kevin Mack is.
No, he's not. Mack is sidelined with an upset stomach. Only report we've gotten. Did start the game. Here is Kosar, 2nd and 9. Big rush. He loops it downfield, and he's not close to a connection as he again tried to go to Earnest Byner at the 32-yard line. And on 3 throws in the first half, Kosar has had the ball slip on him. And Al Thompson put the rush on Bernie Kosar, number 99.
Nice little game run up front by the Colts defensive line, and Donnell Thompson was basically untouched from the outside.
Browns 6 of 7 on 3rd down conversions. They have a 3rd and long coming up now. 3rd down and 9. And 39 to play in the first half. Cleveland 7, Indianapolis 7. The winner to meet the victor in tomorrow's Houston-Denver game for the right to represent the American Conference in the Super Bowl. Kosar against a blitz, stands in, dumps it off nicely, but it's not enough for a first down. Mike Pryor, the free safety from Illinois State, ran the play down. Clarence Weathers made the catch and was knocked down, and so the Browns send out their barefoot punter, Lee Johnson. Not a fun job today, Trump, kicking a football in -0 chill factors. It has to be like kicking a bowling ball with a bare foot.
It's got to hurt. I don't care what he says. That's got to hurt. But kickers, punters, they're a strange group, probably from another planet years ago. They don't think the way the rest of us think.
Lamar suspect of not being well men. The ball is hit high downfield. Very nicely done by Lee Johnson.
Oh, nice punt.
And it goes out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. Johnson kicked on a national championship team at Brigham Young. 36-yard punt placed out of bounds. And with 9:46 to go in the first half, the Colts take over with the long field to go.
After the 36-yard punt out of bounds at the 5-yard line, Lee Johnson goes over, and no, he doesn't stand there in the snow with his bare foot. He has his own special little boot to keep his footsie warm.
The crowd starts up. Very difficult to hear the count now as Trudeau sets up the Colts just inside their 5-yard line. Trudeau gets time and he throws a strike, but the ball is dropped at the 9-yard line. Bill Brooks, who doesn't drop many, dropped one there, covered by linebacker Eddie Johnson. We start up after the play with 9:41 to play first half, still a 7-7 game. If you joined us late, the Browns on a 15-play, 86-yard drive after the opening kickoff took it in on the touchdown throw from 10 yards out. Bernie Kosar to running back Earnest Byner. Then the Colts came down the field and they connected on a short TD pass from 2 yards out. Jack Trudeau to tight end Pat Beach. No scoring since. The Browns were down close at the 2-yard line of Indianapolis. But an end zone throw was intercepted by Fred Robinson.
Now, to this point, Eric Dickerson been very little factor. He also has one catch on a screen for 10 yards. Well, the Browns have pretty much kept Dickerson out of the game to this point.
2nd down and 10, but Eric Dickerson is a loaded gun. He can take it the distance on any play. Dickerson knocked down at the 6-yard line, and so Trudeau will have to throw from his end zone.
Looks like Mike Johnson makes the tackle. Am I right? It's 50-something.
Eddie Johnson was also there.
That's Eddie Johnson.
Who's down.
He's definitely hurt. He kind of got Dickerson on the side. And Dickerson at 6'3", 217, 18 pounds can hurt you, especially when it's a glancing blow.
That won't be the last player that's down in the game. With the impact hitting we have today, we'll be paused for this word.
When it comes to making sales, you've got to know how to open those doors.
Back to live action. Third down coming up now for Indianapolis. Third down and 8. The game tied 7-7. Colts backed up in their own end. Trudeau, 4 wide receivers in the game to put it up from the end zone. Here comes the rush. He eludes it for the moment. Throws downfield. Makes the connection at the 17-yard line. And it looks like a first down as Bill Brooks, who you recall dropped one 3 plays ago, now comes back and makes the reception. But there is a penalty marker down also.
Here's the injury to Eddie Johnson. You see Eric Dickerson makes a little move here. Johnson misses him ever so slightly. Kind of catches him off center. Looks like he got a little stinger there. Eddie Johnson's all right, but he has to come out for a play. Trudeau here does a great job of avoiding the rush, Don.
And the marker dropped by mistake, Trump. There's no penalty marker, so they're going to go from scrimmage, and it is a first down.
Carl Harrison, Big Daddy, made the pressure. Trudeau throws that ball down into the ground. Excellent job by the Colts offense there.
Dickerson gets the wave of tacklers and pushes them back, gets to the 21-yard line. Eric Dickerson stopped on the play by Eddie Johnson, who healed fast. He's right back in there, Eddie Johnson. That is the truth. And he said they have to be in concert to stop Dickerson, who's at 218 pounds and only has 9.4 speed, but cuts back like a punt returner.
Absolutely. He's had 6 postseason games in his career. 4 times he's rushed for more than 100 yards. 1 time it was for a playoff record of 248 yards against Dallas.
2nd and 5. They go up the gut to Eric Dickerson, and he might have the first down. Eric Dickerson is spotted ahead to the 29-yard line. Dickerson, a most amazing athlete. The knock on him, of course, that he's a fumbler. He's only fumbled 4 times this season in 223 carries. As Ron Meyer says, when you want to talk about him, talk about a winner. Took a little high school in Texas, Sealy High School, to a state championship. Went to SMU. Had 2 Southwest Conference championship teams. They hadn't anything like that since Doak Walker was there, and it was all because of Dickerson and James. 5 years in the NFL and 5 playoff teams. The Rams were a loser before he got there. Went to 4 straight playoffs. Maybe didn't get there the year he left. And the Colts do for the first time in 10 years. Flea flicker. They're looking at Booza. Now there's a problem for Trudeau, and he wisely throws it away. Excellent coverage by the Browns.
Browns were not fooled. It did not draw the defensive coverage up. And that's what you hope that flea flicker does.
Good time to do it, though.
Oh, absolutely. You see the handoff, and nobody's fooled. Nobody. Now they're looking for the outlet receiver. You know, to continue on the train of thought on Eric Dickerson, he's so good, everybody tries to find something wrong with him. He's collected 8,000 rushing yards, faster than Jimmy Brown.
Right.
I mean, there's so many positive things about this guy. Everybody tries to find a negative.
8,200 yards in 5 seasons. Somehow the ball was caught. And for Dixon came up on the play as Booza came up on the ball at the 32-yard line and looked like he got it with one hand.
Well, that looked like some late piling on there. We got a penalty on the defense too. Clay Matthews. Now watch this throw.
I don't know how he caught this.
It's one-handed. The ball's thrown behind him. There's good coverage right on him, but he's able to hang on. And when the ball is loose, that's when people pile on. 59 Mike Johnson, 51 Eddie Johnson, but there's a flag on the other side of the field. It's against Clay Matthews holding. Automatic first down for the Indianapolis Colts as the drive stays alive.
First time they played, Cleveland went to an 8-man defensive line much of the time to shut down Dickerson. He got 98 yards. First down play it is at the 35-yard line of the Colts. 7-7 game. Second quarter, 6:50 to play in the half. Number 29 loses yards. He's knocked down at the 33-yard line. Eddie Johnson again shedded the block and made the head-on stick on Eric Dickerson. Dickerson now 8 carries, 24 yards. Will track him every step of the way.
Brown's done a good job of not letting him in the defensive backfield. If you can get Dickerson before he gets to the line of scrimmage, you've won the battle. But as you said, there's Pat Beach going to the sideline now. He's shaken up a little bit. You got to keep trying Eric Dickerson, though, Don. Each time he carries it, he's closer to breaking along.
Trudeau has passed very well. He comes out of that passing program at Illinois. This time a high pass caroms off the shoulder pads of Brooks, and it was a catchable ball again.
Yeah, Don, I think that the problem that Brooks is having is he's trying to catch the ball with his body. When you're in inclement weather, you put your hands out in front of you as far as you can. Try first to catch it with the hands, and then the body is that's the backup. That's the backboard. Now watch, he lets this ball get right to him. Now the ball is thrown high, but that's a very catchable ball. You're absolutely correct, Don. That would have been about half of what they needed for the first down.
Trudeau having some problems now, and his receivers haven't helped. He's only hit one of his last 5 after starting out 6 for 6. Bentley and Dickerson are both in the backfield. As on 3rd and 11, Trudeau eludes the sack for the moment, then he goes down at the 28-yard line. Dave Pizzulli filling in for the injured Pro Bowl nose tackle Bob Golick. Makes yet another play for the Cleveland Browns on defense.
The thing that Pizzulli does the best here is he keeps the containment. He doesn't get out of the rush lane. You see, Solt 66 is trying to handle him, and when Trudeau steps up, Golick is just in the right place. That's exactly what you'd like to have your nose tackle do, not get out of that pass rush lane.
The Cleveland Brown defense, which ranked number 1 in the American Conference, starting to stand tall now as the Colts have to punt again. Big rush, Stark, an end-over-end punt. It'll bounce in front of Gerald McNeil, and McNeil has to let it roll, and the Colts will down the ball at the Cleveland 33-yard line.
That was a good choice by Gerald McNeil. He told Paul McGuire before the game that he wanted to return one, and you can get a little over-anxious in the playoffs. What you don't want to do, though, is make a big mistake. That was a 38-yard punt. McNeil let it bounce.
At halftime, a complete review of the playoff picture as we go to Bob Costas, Paul McGuire, Ahmad Rashad, Gail Gardner, and Coach Don Shula, the Miami Dolphins. Tomorrow, NBC Sports goes to Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado, where Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen bring you the Houston-Denver Bronco game. The Browns, Art Modell, their owner, said it took them a full year to get over that playoff loss to the Broncos here a season ago. Now the hopes are high again as the give is to Manoah, and the rookie back powers his way to the 39-yard line. Tim Manoah hasn't gotten the ball off, and that's only the 24th time this season. The first-year player out of Penn State has averaged 5 yards a carry.
And, of course, if you're wondering why Manoah's in there.
He's got that Quasimodo neck
Yes,
back
he
on.
does. Yes, he does. Kevin Mack on the sideline with a stomach virus. We don't know if he'll play at all as Manoah comes out of the ball game. Now 3 wide receivers for Cleveland.
Second down and 4 for the Browns. Game tied 7-7. 4:55 to play. First half, chill factors probably below 0 now. As the handoff is out to the 44-yard line. Earnest Byner ran straight ahead and was knocked down by nose tackle Byron Darby and outside linebacker Dwayne Bickett.
Let me correct myself. I said 3 wide receivers, and actually the formation with 2 tight ends, Tunnell and Ozzie Newsome. And Ernest Byner now must carry a very heavy load. Normally that's Kevin Mack in the backfield. There's Kevin Mack with the Browns parka pulled up over his head. Right between Harper and Ray Ellis sitting there, someone getting tape. Pat Beach on the sideline. He went out limping. This game taking its toll on players already. Larry Williams, badly sprained ankle, went in to get a tape. They doubt if he'll come back and play again today. As a measurement, the Browns pick up the first down.
Against common opponents this season, Cleveland is 7-2, Indianapolis 4-5. Brown regulars, who were 8-4 this season, were only 1-4 against teams that went to the playoffs. Marty Schottenheimer on the sideline as the Browns offense on the field has been much of the first half in this tie game. Kosar looking deep. Now he takes off. Kosar gets to midfield on a first down scramble. He got 5 yards, knocked down by Dwayne Bickett, number 50.
And again, a great job by Indianapolis disguising coverage. They dropped out of what appeared to be a man-to-man. Bickett, good job just staying in the spot where he should. See, he's there on the blitz. The offensive left tackle Paul Farron is the blocker. Bickett catches Bernie Kosar from behind, which is not that difficult to do.
But he got 5. Browns have lost 2 starters so far. Kevin Mack sidelined with stomach problems. Tackle Larry Williams out with a badly sprained ankle. It's not expected he'll return. Kosar out pattern. He's got a man. Nicely done by Brian Brennan out to the 41-yard line. Brennan turning back at the ball, catches it a foot off the ground. Feet sliding. Freddie Robinson was defending as best he could. It's a first down for Cleveland.
Big cushion by the cornerback of the Indianapolis Colts, and Bernie picks it up immediately. And you can see Eugene Daniel not even anywhere in the picture whatsoever. It looks like 98. Johnny Cooks is supposed to be the man underneath that coverage, but Kosar able to get it to Brennan for a first down.
Now first and 10 for Cleveland. 40-yard line of Indianapolis. 7-7 game. 2:54 to play in the half. Manoa. Not much there, and he's knocked down at the 39-yard line. They'll bring up second and long. Donnell Thompson was on the stop, along with Byron Darby. Ron Meyer, the coach of the Colts, for the great success in the turnabout in that team in the past year, is voted overwhelmingly American Conference Coach of the Year in the past week.
He's done a great job. I think the most difficult thing to do as a coach is take a team that is used to losing, becomes a habit, and turn them around. When he took over the Colts, as you said earlier, 0-13, they win their last 3 games of the season, and they've gone from worst to first. I don't think there's a more difficult thing for a coach and coaching staff to do.
And he said, Trump, when he took over his first meeting, he told them, we're going to win. Right now, I'm not sure how, but we're going to win. They won their last 3 games. Colts are 10-5 since Meyer's taken over the regular. 2-minute warning is given, so we'll be back to Cleveland after this.
We're not a company, but we recognize potential. We develop it. We use it. We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you. As your ability for leadership grows, so will you. Working with us, you'll gain self-confidence. Become a person with a future. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Marines, the Army.
The wind meter in Cleveland is quiet, and that's good. Temperature has dropped, though. It's probably down around 10 degrees now. As the Browns have the ball at the 39-yard line of the Indianapolis Colts, this playoff game is tied 7-7. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Bernie Kosar at quarterback. Looking deep, letting it go long. A man is open, Langhorne, and he has the ball at the 3-yard line. And he's not done till he gets in. Touchdown, Cleveland. Touchdown pass play. Bernie Kosar to Reggie Langhorne, who is wide open in the middle of the Colt defense.
Excellent formation called by Cleveland. Art Modell, the owner, obviously elated. They put Byner out on the wing. That consumed the free safety, Freddie Robinson. Willie Tullis was covering the wide receiver. No free safety. The deep slant is open, and Kosar puts it right on the money.
Did he? Now Matt Bahr out to try the point after. So the Browns make it happen fast. Bahr hits it up and good. 1:51 to go in the first half. Cleveland has broken the tie and taken a 14-7 lead.
From behind the defense, now understand, Pryor, the safety, is drawn up to the line of scrimmage. Earnest Byner is out on the flank. That takes away the middle coverage of the defense. Bernie Kosar reads it perfectly. Langhorne runs an outstanding pattern, and of course you're not down till tackled in the NFL. His first catch of the day is for a touchdown and the high 5.
Reggie Langhorne from Elizabeth City State. duel that produced, among others, Jethro Pugh of Doomsday Defense fame at Dallas.
That's a while ago.
It was a while ago.
It's a long time between NFL players for Elizabeth City State.
Lee Johnson kicks it off and hits it deep. Albert Bentley runs it back for Indianapolis, and here comes Albert Bentley in open field. He's got to beat the kicker, and Johnson slows him down, and then the tackle is made at the 41-yard line. Mark Harper finally brought him down. Reggie Langhorne with his second touchdown catch of the year, and he really made a play to do it. Two of them, diving catch, and then gets up and powers in.
You can see the good look off by Bernie Kosar, and watch this fingertip catch. No gloves by Langhorne. He's not down yet in the NFL. He gets up, powers into the end zone, 6 points.
Great second look. Our producer today for NBC Sports is George Finkel. Our director, John Gonzalez. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson. The Colts have scored in the last 2 minutes of the first half in 10 of their 15 games. We'll see what they can do now as Trudeau's on the run, looking for the 12th man, and he bails out.
He got no help from his receivers. Once he was flushed out of the pocket, there was nobody for him to throw it to. There's that stat you just gave, Don.
And a reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser most valuable player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. 1:35 to go in the first half. Jack Trudeau was a second-round draft choice 2 years ago out of Illinois. Since taking over for the injured Gary Hogeboom, he has hit 56% of his passes. He's thrown this season for 7 touchdowns, including one today. He's been intercepted 6 times. The more he plays, the better he gets. Now he has a 2nd and 5 play coming up. Browns lead 14-7, second quarter. Dickerson, both arms on the ball, gets ahead for 3.
Well, there's one thing about playing the Indianapolis Colts now, that they have Eric Dickerson in the offensive backfield as the Colts take a timeout. They have 2 left in the first half. It's very difficult to go to a prevent defense against a team that has a running back the caliber of Eric Dickerson, because you have so many people committed to down the field. I'm looking at Langhorne's arm on the sideline. So many people can be committed down the field that if Dickerson gets through that initial defensive line of scrimmage, it's a 20 or 25-yard pickup. What you're forced to do defensively against Dickerson is play it straight. That allows you the chance to throw the ball down through the middle of the defense.
Right now, the 3rd and 1 is coming up. Dickerson doesn't have a whole lot of yards running from scrimmage so far. He's done all the running from scrimmage for Indianapolis, 27 yards on 9 carries. But he can go boom at any time, and nobody knows that better than Coach Schottenheimer. There's Gary Hogeboom. They can't keep him in the lineup. He's had one injury after another, both at Dallas and with the Colts.
And they're not little ding injuries. Dislocated shoulders, broken ribs that puncture his lung, fractured hands.
3rd and 1 for the Colts. Dickerson takes the ball, looks for room, and dives ahead for a first down to the 48-yard line. Fazuli caught him and held on as you see the game clock ticking on down. 1:18 to go in the first half. 14-7 Cleveland.
Fazuli, a great job just tripping up Eric Dickerson.
Into the 2-minute offense, and Trudeau with a brief sprint out loops the ball. It was up for grabs. It hit a vacant part of the field. Stops the clock. The big rush was put on a linebacker blitz by Clay Matthews. 1:03 to play in the half.
Clay Matthews, another Pro Bowler for the Cleveland Browns.
Indianapolis, like Cleveland, rocking over the success of their team. Although the Browns have been in the playoffs with divisional championships, they've won the AFC Central 3 straight years. Colts have now been in Indianapolis 4 years. Had not won a playoff game while they were the Baltimore Colts since 1971. That's how long it's been. Throw, and again, incomplete ball at the 36-yard line of the Browns on a 2nd and 10 play. Nobody there, and Trudeau got rid of it. Al Baker rushed him, number 60.
Trudeau kind of drew that ball back. Dickerson ran a pattern and kind of stopped in the middle of it. Jack Trudeau tried to draw it back and get it down the field to Bill Brooks. Could not get enough on it. Brings up 3rd down and 10 now for the Colts.
One thing Dickerson does not do a lot of is catch the ball. He only has 13 receptions in his 8 games as an Indianapolis Colt. Trudeau ready to face an all-out rush on 3rd down and 10. Stands in, lets it and Brooks in open field inside the 25 and down to the 19-yard line. There is a penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage, however. Clock stopped with 48 seconds to play. A 28-yard gain on 3rd down and 10 against the best defense in the American Conference.
Mark Harper finally makes the tackle.
Lined up in the
Offsides
neutral
defense.
zone. Number 60 of the defense.
Oh, my goodness. It's
Penalty is
Baker at the line of
declined.
scrimmage.
First down.
Al Baker, the pass rusher. This is an excellent job of pass protection by the Colt offensive line. Trudeau does a great job of waiting for Brooks to get open. Again, it's Hanford Dixon in the coverage. Harper finally saves a touchdown. A huge play for Indianapolis.
Bill Brooks with 3 catches today for 45 yards. He had 7 catches for 84 yards a month ago when the Colts won the upset here at Cleveland Stadium. Trudeau fires. Dickerson gets the ball, and he goes in. So Eric Dickerson, they don't go to him often, but they get to him on the payoff end as he got by Clay Matthews. And Dickerson takes the perfectly thrown ball at the 3, spins off, and takes it in. And again, with Biasucci coming out, the Colts are an extra point away from tying the game a second time.
That's his first touchdown receiving as an Indianapolis Colt. You can understand why the Cleveland Browns not committing a great deal of coverage to Eric Dickerson, but Clay Matthews, their best coverage linebacker, just didn't see the football.
That, Trump, is the 11th time in 16 games that the Colts have scored in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Extra point by Biasucci, spun up and good. And again, we're deadlocked. This time it's 14-all with 42 seconds to play. Let's watch it come right at you.
From behind the defense, the Colts have done a great job of isolating linebacker in coverage on receivers. Trudeau stands in there, Mike Johnson all over him. Clay Matthews never really sees this ball at all. Ends up being a 19-yard touchdown reception. And that's Eric Dickerson's first postseason reception for a touchdown in his career. Look at that, Johnson all over him. Trudeau stands in there. Does an outstanding job. And you see 29 and see if he puts a move on. No, he just runs by Clay Matthews. I think you're going to excuse Clay Matthews. There's no way he's going to match foot speed with Eric Dickerson.
Our NBC statistician Elliot Cal pointing out that Dickerson now has 61 yards and half of it's receiving, or almost 30 yards receiving, 31 yards rushing the ball so far. And the bottom line has evened up, 14-all with 42 seconds to play in the bitter cold of Cleveland. 42 seconds to go in the first half.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Dickerson turns around. Matthews does not see the ball coming. The ball is underthrown, and Dickerson able to catch that ball right in his chest.
Home is the dome, of course, for the Colts at the Hoosier Dome, but they've done well, as you know, Trump. Outside on grass fields, they're 3-0 in grass fields. One here at Cleveland, also one in San Diego and in Miami.
Well, to this point, this ball game is now favoring the Indianapolis Colts. The longer they can stay close, as big as an underdog as they were coming into this ball game, the more confident they'll be in the second half of this game.
This is not L.A. today for Eric Dickerson, but he's in the end zone again.
This is the 3rd time he's played on this field. Once for the Los Angeles Rams and once for the Colts, and now in the playoffs against Cleveland.
Biasucci again hits a very short kickoff. Coming up on the ball is McNeil, and he's across the 35 to the 36-yard line. With 38 seconds to play, down to make the tackle was June James. So now let's see what Mr. Kosar on the Cleveland offense can do. Twice he's put the ball in the end zone for touchdowns. Once a throw into the end zone, you remember, was intercepted by Freddie Robinson of Indianapolis to stop a drive.
Don, I think you got to try to get points in this situation. They got the win at their back.
Colt defenders way back off the ball, playing in a deep zone. Zone 3 is now they try to get a draw play going. Earnest Byner, but John Hand didn't buy it. He made the knockdown along with Dwayne Bickett.
That's a keep the defense honest play. Some of the people here in the stadium didn't like it. I think that's a good call. You got that defense dropping back. If Byner gets through there, he's going to pop for a long distance.
Indianapolis was the only team to beat the regular Browns squad this season here at Cleveland Stadium. Browns 5-1, their regulars. 2nd and 12. Kosar takes a look and lets her rip. Going for the ball is Webster Slaughter, and he's picked off. No, he drops it. Eugene Daniel had it and lost it at the 18-yard line. So Kosar will set up to fire and fall back again with 3 seconds to go in the first half.
Again, Don, that ball hung up. Now, of course, when it gets cold, your hand shrinks a little bit. You can see this is almost a jump ball here. Daniel comes very close to winning that jump ball when it goes right through his hands. Just 3 seconds left. You might as well try it again. Hope for an interference call way down the field. Around 6 of 8 third downs in this first half.
Kosar's going to have to throw it 60 yards to get it by that deep zone. They go to the run, and Byner's truck it on down the field. The clock winds out as Byner goes down at the 46-yard line. Tackled on the play by John Holt and Mike Pryor. The gun sounds, and so Coach Schottenheimer leads his heavily favored Browns to the locker room. As the Indianapolis Colts stood tall, twice coming from behind to tie the game. Ron Meyer has to be pleased after 2 quarters of play. It's a 14-14 game. NFL Live halftime activities will continue in a moment, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Welcome back to our NFL Live studios in New York. Along with Coach Don Shula, I'm Bob Costas. We'll check with Ahmad and Paul from the field in Cleveland in just a moment. Let's check some of the stats first. Trudeau keeping pace with Kosar. Kosar 11 of 19 for 128, a couple of scores, and had that very important pass picked off in the end zone. Unofficially, Eric Dickerson with 32 first-half rushing yards and, of course, the touchdown reception that led to the tie score at 14 at halftime. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this first half, and the fans are a definite factor all over the Colts, these mongrels in Cleveland Stadium. Here's the first possession for the Browns, and in the first quarter, nothing could be finer than the play of Earnest Byner. He takes it in for the touchdown, capping the drive and a 7-0 lead. But Trudeau is undaunted. Back he comes. Matt Bahr, the veteran, on the receiving end of this one. It's good for 18, sets up 1st and goal, and after an unsuccessful running play, Trudeau goes with play action. He'll fake a handoff here to George Wansley, and Pat Beach is wide open at the back of the end zone. It's tied at 7. But here's the ill-fated Kosar pass. He probably should not have put this one up. They could have had the field goal for sure. Here's the rookie from Alabama, Freddie Robinson, who played with Mike Shula for the Crimson Tide, comes up with a big interception. Now it's Reggie Langhorne as the Browns get the ball back. He latches onto a 39-yarder, bounces up, hasn't been touched, bulls his way into the end zone, 14-7. Looked like the Browns would have the lead to take to the locker room, but Trudeau patches together a late drive that ends with the 19-yarder to Dickerson. After the PAT, it's tied at 14. You know, Coach, a lot of people gave the Colts a chance. I was one of them, but I thought if they were to win this game, it'd have to be in a game where the winning team scored fewer than 20 and where Biasucci kicked 3 field goals.
And the amazing thing about this ball game is that Dickerson running has not really been a factor in the ball game. It's Trudeau throwing the football and the Colts coming back. Cleveland gets the ball and they score on their first possession. And that was a great drive. Everybody was wondering whether they could execute the kind of weather conditions that they're playing in. But they moved the ball down the field. They have 5 out of 5 third down conversions, and of course the last one is a 10-yard touchdown pass from Kosar to Byner. Here, Byner comes out of the backfield, and they try to get him isolated on Glasgow, and he comes out and he gets inside of Glasgow. Now this is a cardinal sin for the defensive back to let him inside, but he crosses his face. Kosar puts it on the money, he catches it and rolls into the end zone for the first touchdown. But later on, they also, aside from running or throwing the football on third down, they also run with the football. There's a big play on 3rd down and 10 where they pick up 11 yards on a trap draw play. Good play by the guard. Byner again with the ball, picks up the 11 yards. So this keeps the Colt defense off balance. They can't say that every time it's 3rd down and long that they're going to throw the football. And we talked a little bit in the pregame about Kosar's sidearm delivery.
Right.
I think it hurt him in this. This is a critical play down on the goal line. It's a play-action pass. Kosar gets rushed, and he lets it go. He's been successful doing this. The sidearm delivery. The receiver falls down, and Robinson is there to make the interception in the end zone. That takes away points, potential points, either a field goal or the touchdown pass. But the thing that amazes me about the Colts in this ball game is that they're in it because they keep coming back throwing the football.
Put yourself in the position of each of the coaches. If you're Schottenheimer, what are you saying to your troops right now?
Well, Schottenheimer has to continue to go after him. Defensively, they've got to do something against the pass. They've done a good job of stopping Dickerson. But they also have to put more heat on the quarterback. I think that Trudeau has had too much time to throw the football, and that's why he's been so successful. I would think that that would be his theme, that they got to put more heat on the quarterback.
How do they do it?
They just have to rush another linebacker. You got to try to get more out of your three-man rush. There are going to be times where they're going to have to go with 4 people or even 5 people going after the quarterback to try to put pressure on him. They've got some corners that can cover, so they have to take the chance of blitzing the linebackers to get pressure on the passer.
Yeah, with Dixon and Minnifield, you can afford to gamble.
Right. That's exactly right. And they've got some linebackers that can blitz, but they're going to put pressure on it, and if you hit the play, it's a big play.
All right, now you're Ron Meyer. What are you saying?
Ron Meyer's got to be pretty happy right now. He's got to think about getting Dickerson in the ball game as far as ball control. This is what everybody thought would be their game plan going into the ball game. Give the ball to Dickerson, ball control, play big defense against the Brown offense, and win the game that way with Biasucci kicking the football, kicking the field goals. He's an accurate kicker. So I would think that they're talking about getting Dickerson into the offense and getting some ball control to go along with a fine passing game that they had in the first half.
We're going to check with Ahmad and Paul in just a minute, but at the beginning of the game, we mentioned that this is the first Browns-Colts playoff game since 1971, but they also met twice at Cleveland Stadium in memorable games in the 60s. NFL title at stake both times, 1964 and 68. You were there.
How well I remember. In 64, Frank Ryan threw 3 touchdown passes against us, and they beat us going away. And then we won the ball game the next time when we played them, 34-0. And this was in 1968, and I'll remember after the ball game, Carol Rosenblum, the owner at that time of the Colts, put his arm around me and he said, Don, he said, I hope that you're the last coach that I ever have to hire.
And 2 weeks later...
2 weeks later, the Jets beat us in the Super Bowl, and Carol started to think about another coach.
You know, I've had that same sort of conversation with the executives here at NBC. It's a very disquieting circumstance. All right, let's go back out to Cleveland. Ahmad Rashad and Paul McGuire are shivering there. Here comes their halftime report. Fellas?
All right, Bobby, you know, one of the things that the Colts have been able to do in this first half is take this crowd right out of the game. Paul, don't you... Wait a minute, hold on.
Hey, look at that coat. It drives me crazy. Oh, hi, Bob.
What about the crowd? They've taken them out of the game.
Well, what happens is when, you know, you score right away and the crowd's in the game and they're talking about what a great defense Cleveland has, and then all of a sudden the Colts just take the ball and go down the field on them, it's going to quiet this place. We've been standing up in the stands. You and I have been around this building, and this crowd is really not in the ball game at all.
All right, now, you know Cleveland came in here intent on stopping Bentley and Dickerson, and so when we get down, let's take a look at their first touchdown drive. It's 1st and 10 down on the goal line, and all of a sudden, Bentley gets the ball. You can see that all the linebackers are intent on stopping this guy because he tries to run the ball off the left side, and I mean, they're up and swarming all over him.
Well, remember the first time Dickerson carried the ball in the game, Ahmad, he lost 2 yards. And when you concentrate on the run, what you fail to do is do anything about the pass. And that's where the Colts are really getting to Cleveland. They're throwing the ball all over the ballpark, and Cleveland's worried so much about the run, they forgot the pass. Dickerson scores a touchdown catch.
Well, let's take a look at the second play. It's 2nd down and goal now with all these linebackers crowding the line of scrimmage. All of a sudden, they have a chance for Beach to sneak through and become open in the end zone.
And then you have a linebacker covering on a tight end, which he can't get there, and you see Beach there, just absolutely no one around him. And that's what happens when you worry about the run and you forget about the pass.
Paul, you got to be impressed with the Colts because they all of a sudden Cleveland goes down and score, and they keep coming right back. It's no fluke that they're in this playoff game.
No, I think the key to this second half is that the Colts will get the ball. And if they can take the drive and move it down the field and score, I think the Browns are going to be in trouble. The Browns have to put their defense back in order. Their offense is fine. Defensively, they're not doing anything.
Now they think that they've really put a stop on Eric Dickerson, but he's the kind of back that you can hold for 3 quarters. All of a sudden, he'll break that long run.
And you don't want to cover him with a linebacker because of his tremendous speed.
You know what? The last 2 times that the Browns have played in the playoff games, it's gone to overtime. It may happen again.
I don't think so. This game will be over. The Cleveland Browns will get it all together and do it the second half.
Hey, Bobby, back to you. This man is nuts.
Yeah, that's in the category of understatement. Can you imagine some poor soul, he was up late last night, he just turns it on right in the middle of this thing, and here's some guy with a snout barking into somebody's ear?
He thinks my coat is something else. I don't know what's wrong with it. Earring last week, nose this week.
We'll be back to you two vaudevillians a bit later in the day, but right now let's get a preview of the game coming up in the NFC. The Vikings will try and make it 2 in a row on the road. They upset the Saints a week ago. An even tougher test coming up against the 49ers at Candlestick Park. Our Gary Gerald is there with this preview. Gary?
Well, Bob, by Bay Area standards, it's not the prettiest of days here in San Francisco. It's gloomy and overcast. There is a light mist and rain falling. It has been raining overnight. The field at Candlestick Park is covered. A lot of rain did come down during the night, but they're hoping that the turf will be in good shape for this playoff encounter between the 49ers and the Vikings. Now, we do not have to worry about sub-freezing temperatures. There's no wind chill factor. There is no threat of snow. It looks like temperatures will be in the mid-50s here at kickoff a couple of hours from now. Minnesota, of course, has come to Northern California from Arizona, where they've been working out at the University of Arizona. And Jerry Burns has indicated that Wade Wilson will be his starting quarterback this afternoon. Tommy Kramer, of course, is available if there are any problems for Wilson and the Vikings offense. Bill Walsh, on the other hand, says he'll go with Joe Montana. No surprise there, although Montana says he is still somewhat bothered by that hamstring injury that he suffered a few weeks ago. If he encounters any difficulty, Steve Young is ready to step in on a moment's notice. Bill Walsh, incidentally, was hired 9 years ago to the day to take over the reins of the San Francisco 49ers organization, and in that reign, he has yet to lose a playoff game here at Candlestick Park. He's hoping that his ball club will take another step toward a third Super Bowl appearance this afternoon. That's our situation a couple of hours before kickoff, Bob. Back to you in New York from Candlestick Park in San Francisco.
Okay, Gary, thanks very much, and we'll return to Cleveland Stadium for the kickoff starting the second half as we rejoin Don Criqui and Bob Trumpy following these messages from your local stations.